First of all, Michael, great to meet you. An alum to alum, 97 to 83. So blessed to meet you.
Blessed to meet you too, Michael.
The power of social media.
Isn't that something, huh?
Yeah, we met through Facebook.
Yes, that's a great thing, and I'm honored. I'm honored that you want me to be one of the very first. I'm very
Yeah.
honored.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know in your bio you played at Framingham State. So let's get right into that and what those years meant to you playing basketball there.
Oh, wow. Okay. Basically, I guess I got to go from the beginning. I went to Bishopstown High School out of Dartmouth, Mass. I played 4 years. I was captain, but I really didn't know where I wanted to go to further my education, and I still wanted to play basketball. There was a guy by the name of Mickey Gonzalez who had transferred from Boston State. He went to Framingham State, and Mickey and I played ball for years and years and years. And I guess he, saw something he liked, and he wanted to recruit me.
Nice.
And of course, we had the famous meeting with Mr. Bruce Greeley, who was a coach back then, and started my playing career at Framingham State. And that, matter of fact, that very first year, which was in 78, 79, if I recall, we had, without question, the most greatest team in Framingham State history.
Nice.
And if you look in the trophy case, you'll see two basketballs with all our names on them for what we accomplished. It was a great honor to play with so many great players throughout the years. I could name some names: Donnie Moy, tremendous point guard; Mickey Gonzalez, probably the best shooter to ever come out of Massachusetts. And when we played, there wasn't a 3-point line. He destroyed that. A guy by the name of Tony Lake, Lou Bird, Tony DePina. We had a tremendous team. We ended up going to the regionals and lost that year. But we ended up going to the State House. They honored us at the State House. And as far as my personal career, the very first year, I didn't play very much because of the talent that I just mentioned. But beginning my sophomore year, I played quite a bit, and then ended up becoming captain, point guard for 3 years. Happened to play with undoubtedly the best player to ever come out of Framingham State, and his name was Mark Van Valkenburg. What an unbelievable talent. About 6'6", left hand, could shoot anywhere around the perimeter. Just had a tremendous game, and it was an honor to play with him. And he ended up trying out with the Celtics. He didn't make it, but I guarantee you his name lives on and on at Framingham State.
Yeah. What a special school, too, to be part of.
Oh, now we can go. We can really talk. When I went there, I really went there as a student athlete. I think a lot of players go to schools thinking athlete, then student. I went as a student, then became an athlete. And I truly believe that I received a great education. I ended up with a bachelor's in sociology and philosophy. And I had the faculty was tremendous. The students were tremendous. Back then, we started what we call the Black Student Union. I was one of the people who started the Black Student Union, which was really, really, really good because back then, I think there was probably between 18 and 20 students of color at Framingham State University at that time. So it was good for us to form a united bond, and that well for us for the course of the 4 years. And the thing about the education aspect of it was the critical thinking. I remember the critical thinking and how it formed the way that I think, the way that I do things. But with my major, which was sociology, critical thinking was a major component in basically forming my after college career.
Yeah. And what was that? Where did you go from Framingham State?
Well, okay, I graduated from Framingham State, and then I ended up working at a place called St. Vincent's Home, which really was a rude awakening, as we dealt with kids who were suicidal, had a lot of mental issues, and I was responsible for the oldest group in a home, and I did that for 2 years, and it really woke me up about a lot of things, about how a lot of kids were brought up. And then I got a break, and I ended up working for the Department of Corrections, and I just recently retired after 30 years. I
Nice.
was a
Yeah.
recreational officer, and part of my duties was I ran the sports program. And what I used to do, which was unheard of, but I did it for like 25 years or so. I've been privileged to have a lot of, because I'm a basketball official, I've been privileged to be around a lot of athletes and a lot of um, people in the know as far as sports are concerned. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring a lot of that talent into the prison to
Mm.
play against the inmates. And I found that to be very important. And the inmates totally loved it. I mean, you name the names, I brought them in there. Over the course of 25 years, I must have brought in over 150 players, some NFL players, some NBA players. Stephen Cooper, who played for San Diego Chargers, I don't know if you're familiar with him. John Garris, who played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, he played for Boston College. Dwayne Peenan, who played at Boston College. I can go on and on and on. But that is what I also got myself involved with. I'm also involved with a lot of basketball tournaments out here in New Bedford, Mass. Keeps me very busy. We have a lot of basketball shootouts. We do a lot of things for the community. And right now, with me being retired, I have a lot of time on my hands, and I want to give back to the community that gave back to me.
Yeah. I was going to say, it feels like what work you got into professionally seems like you wanted to give back at a very early age.
Absolutely. You know, some back in the day, which is totally different than it is now, we had a lot of the elders who all looked out for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we didn't go to the left. You know what I mean? They looked out for us and made sure that we went straight and narrow. And they obviously emphasized the importance of getting an education. And it was good to grow up in an area, in a place where you felt safe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in our neighborhood, it was really tough.
Yep.
So to have those elders looking out for us, and it's the least that I can do is to pay it forward.
Yeah. I was going to say, Mass has changed, really. I mean, I know a lot of spots that maybe were deemed bad areas. This state has really changed in the last maybe 15, 20 years.
Right, exactly. I
Yeah.
definitely agree with that.
Yeah. New
Yeah.
Bed. So you grew up in New Bedford and you're back there.
I grew up in New Bedford. I'm here now, and I'm going to be here for the long term.
Yeah.
But I also want to say I do a lot of podcasts, and I do a lot of things because I've been blessed.
Yeah.
I've been given the opportunity to play against Dr. J, Nate Archibald, and I like to share my experiences. I have some real great friends who have allowed me access to a lot of things that a lot of people don't have access to. But one thing I do is I always mention Framingham State. I am an ambassador for Framingham State. I love Framingham State, what it did for me, and I have no problem saying where I came from and the education that I got,
Yeah.
and I owe a lot to Framingham State University.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I mean, they just hired me, so I mean, the fact that I went there and actually three generations of family, my dad, grandfather, and now myself, and then working there. So I feel the same way you do. But let's get into some of those big names. I've listened to some of those podcasts you've been on, and when I see Dr. J, that you've had a connection with him, I mean, that immediately perks me up and would perk anyone up.
Yes, I've been on a few shows, as you know, and it was something amazing. I've been blessed. But let me backtrack a little bit. I don't know if your viewers would know, but New Bedford, again, reason why I give back is they did a lot of things for us. Being in a small city of New Bedford, you would think that we wouldn't really get to see a lot of professional athletes, but the powers that be in New Bedford, what they did was they thought it was important, and they brought some tremendous athletes down so we could see someone that we looked up to and were our role models. And we got to see that they were just like us. They just had a special skill.
Yeah.
One of the very first players that come aboard was a guy by the name of Nate Archibald.
Hmm.
He came to United Front Homes in New Bedford, which was a projects area. And we got an opportunity to see him live and in color. And I got the opportunity to play against him, which was great. I scored against him too, by the way. But it was a great opportunity to play against him. And then when I was 16 years old, there was talk about a guy from the ABA coming to New Bedford High School, guy by the name of Julius Irving. And I recall looking up magazines, Sports Illustrated, things of that nature, because at that time, there were basically only 3 channels. It was ABC, NBC, and CBS.
Yeah.
So we really couldn't see him at all, really. I mean, he was like a figment of our imagination for the most part, but he appeared to be like larger than life. And then when we heard that he's has an opportunity to come to New Bedford High School, we chomped at the opportunity, and we ended up going to go see him put on a clinic. And then during the clinic, he stressed fundamentals, which was very important. The crowd, they were maybe not too thrilled at first, because he specified that, I may make it look easy, but there's a lot of effort and a lot of time and a lot of hours that I put in so I can make it look easy. But it definitely was not easy. But anyway, to make a long story short, he basically called down a guy by the name of Gus Hodge, who was about 6'6", and asked him, if he was the highest leaper in the building, which he was at the time. And he just did things which was really interesting. He said, Gus, do me a favor. Can you touch the net with 2 hands? Gus touched the net. He said, can you touch the backboard? Gus touched the backboard. He said, can you touch the rim? Gus touched the rim. And then he said this, and I'll never forget this. He said, okay, Gus, touch the net without bending your knees. Touch the backboard without bending your knees.
Wow.
Touch the rim without bending your knees. Dr. Dave then proceeded to grab 2 balls, right hand up, dunk, left hand up, dunk, at the same time without bending his knees.
Amazing.
The place went into an uproar. And then he called down, he said, let me get the best 5, 6 players here. And I'm 16 years old, I'm nervous. I'm in awe just looking at him. And, people are shrugging me, Mike, go down there, go down there, go down. So I ended up going down there. It was about 6 or 7 of us went down there, and he shook our hands, and his hands were like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm sure I'm 16 years old. There's 5,000 people in the stands, and I'm nervous. I'm very nervous. And he said the games were the 2, and the first couple of guys went up there. A guy by the name of Dave Lado, who's the head coach of the University of DePaul right now, who happens to be one of my best friends. Dr. Dave took 2 jump shots. Next guy comes aboard, 2 shots. He goes out, then I'm on. So I go up on him. I'm playing him as best I can defensively, and he takes a jump shot. I distinctly remember getting the rebound. I go to the left corner. I go to make a spin move. I go between my legs, behind my back, and I do a left-hand hook, which I missed. Anyway, the object is once you get the rebound, you have to clear it.
Yeah.
Dr. J then got the ball, cleared it, midway between the foul line and the top of the key, takes a jump shot. It hits the back of the rim. Now, I'm looking at it. I focus it. I see the ball coming to my hands, and I'm right there. And all of a sudden, a big hand swaps up, grabs the ball, and does a complete 360-degree dunk, and the place goes crazy.
Wow.
So needless to say, that's went on for about another 15, 20 minutes with the other players. Matter of fact, there was one guy who scored against him. His name was Jeremy Watkins. But then what Doctor did was, which was great, he told everybody, come on down. Everybody come down in a semi-circle. Everybody come down. Everybody come down. And Dr. J put on a show that I wish they had filmed that. He did every imaginable dunk. The only dunk he did not do was the one from the foul line because there was too many people.
Yeah.
He did reverse, behind the back, or off the back. He did every imaginable dunk, and everybody definitely got their money's worth, and it was a great experience. And I feel blessed and honored to be able to say that I got the opportunity to play against the legend.
And you can piece that together perfectly, that memory. It's
Oh,
amazing.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
Never forget it.
It's pretty cool that I know back in the day, a lot of professional athletes did things like that. And I mean, I think now it's probably tougher with security and access, but, and I'm sure organizations would not let a star player do what Dr. J just did, but that's nice that you got to
That's true.
experience that. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But one thing we do now, there was an organization out here in New Bedford and Dartmouth called the BBA, which is the Burgo Basketball Association. And Steve Burgo, who is the main focus of the BBA, just recently I've been working with him for over 20 years also. And what he does is he has a basketball complex, 5 outdoor courts, beautiful. And what we've done is well, because of him, he ended up bringing a guy by the name of Reggie Williams, who played at Georgetown University.
Yeah.
On the famous team with Pat Ewing.
Yep.
He brought him down. Just recently, maybe like 3-4 years ago, he brought down Avery Bradley.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. Avery's a great guy. So, again, we have the access to be able to see these professional athletes and see them as real people. And
Yeah.
Avery Bradley was a great host for the camp. He did it for two weeks, and it was great, But I mean, how many people, I look back to tell you how blessed I am. I mean, I got to play against Pat Ewing. I mean, actual game, not.
Yeah.
I mean, actual game when he was at Cambridge, Virginia, Lanton. I mean, I've been exposed and have been privy to see so many things. It's incredible, and I owe a lot of it to being in New Bedford. I owe a lot of it to having access to Framingham State. I'm gonna give you a quick story about Framingham State. My freshman year going to my sophomore year, you're gonna like this one. There's a guy by the name of Steve Smith. He was on our team. He lived in the Framingham area, and I don't know if you're familiar with, but the Boston Celtics used to practice right at Hellenic College. I don't know if you're familiar with that. They used to practice at Hellenic College.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So I remember Steve asked me if I wanted to go see the practice. And Steve went and picked me up at the college, picked me up. We went to Hellenic College. And as soon as I walk in the building, I'll never forget. As soon as you walk into the gym, on the far end of the court, guess who I see? And I almost had a heart attack.
Larry?
Larry Bird.
Yeah.
We had just graduated. We just left Indiana State after they lost to Michigan State.
Yep.
And there's nobody in the gym. There's like 2 or 3 players in the gym, but I see him shooting his shots, and it was incredible.
I bet.
Now, fast forward, the next year, I get invited to go to the Celtics camp, the basketball camp, as a counselor. And we're there, and we have our kids in each individual log cabins, because out there in Marshfield, it was log cabins. And the kids were there. Of course, we were there. And we're taking the kids for breakfast. And in the back of the log cabin, way, way, way in the back of the log cabin, guess who we see? Mr. Larry Bird. Now, Larry Bird, which a lot of people probably are not aware of, is left-handed. Larry Bird writes with his left.
Yeah.
He eats with his left. A lot of people don't. So when you see him doing all those ambidextrous shots, it's because he's truly left-handed.
Yeah. I remember he played a whole game left-handed just to.
That is correct.
Yeah, just to prove that point. Yeah.
That is absolutely correct. So to make a long story, I've had so many experiences. I can go on and on and on. But I definitely want to emphasize that going to Framingham at that time, which was called Framingham State, did a lot for me. It taught me to be more professional-like. It taught me about, again, the critical thinking, about, doing things on time, doing things the right way. Also, it helped me become a leader. They taught me to become a leader, and I ended up being responsible for the Black Student Union. And again, the faculty was so great. It was just a great environment to learn and to play.
Yeah.
We had a great basketball-wise. We had a great. Probably should have went a little further than what we did, but we had a great team, great players. I keep in touch with most of them right now, which I'll give you the names afterwards. But I keep in touch with a lot of them, And I don't know, it's a bond that we have, and it will continue. It's
Yeah.
been years since 1983. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's still going strong.
It must be weird to look back at that. I know it's hard when you're in the moment to realize what you're doing, and then years go by, and then you realize, wow, I mean, regardless of what level you played at, it's so easy to go back and say, I accomplished something pretty special. And just from what you've talked about, it led you to so many doors.
That is the key too, because also while at Framingham State, you know, I also got into basically learning about officiating.
Yeah.
And again, that opened doors. One of my best friends in the world, his name is Eric Brito, who ended up going to become an official in the NBA. Worked closely with him, went to all his games when he went to New York City, playing in front of, you know, Mike Jackson, and learning the trials and tribulations that it took to become an official, being so close to him and seeing what he went through. Again, having the access to so many players. Dave Lato, who's now the head coach of DePaul. I've been with him since he was at Northeastern in 79, 80, and going through his trials and tribulations at Northeastern, UConn, DePaul, Virginia, Missouri, Tulsa, on and on and on. So I've been blessed, and I just like to share my experiences. And like, as I said, everything I do, I always bring up Framingham State.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
That's great.
100%.
You know, when you said Northeastern, I couldn't help but think of Reggie Lewis. And yeah, I remember watching those games on Nesson. I actually remember the night he passed away. It was during a Red Sox game. They were in Baltimore. I can remember this, and Sean McDonough announced that.
Yeah,
But in that
yeah.
short time, though, someone maybe that goes overlooked. What an amazing player who went to Northeastern. That I know that's not hard, not easy to come out of that school and succeed, and he did.
Now I'm going to tell you a little quick story about that, if I can. What happened was, again, Dave and I. Matter of fact, when I was working at the prison at the time, Dave and I would be, you know, having conversations, and he called me up. He said, "Man, I got this kid, man. I recruited this kid. He's really good." And I'm watching him. I'm like, "Dave, man, I don't see what you see. I don't. Who are you talking about?" It was Reggie Lewis.
Yeah.
Dave's the one that recruited Reggie Lewis.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I'm like, oh wow. Just like when he went to UConn, he told me we went to an all-star game with Ben Baker had his all-star team, and Ray Allen had his all-star team. So right during the game, Dave said, "Oh, those are my two recruits over here." And he goes, "Yeah, they just came back from the McDonald's all-star game." And I'm looking at him like, who are they? They came to half court, they got introduced. One was about 6'4", 6'5", looked about 130 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
Rip Hamilton.
Yeah.
So I mean, you never know. Like you said, you never know. So I mean, like I said, I've been blessed. I'm glad that I was able to be part of what you're doing, and I'm proud of you. And I believe you're gonna do great things at FSU. And if there's anything I can do to help, I'm more than willing and able.
That'd be great. Yeah. Awesome. That was great.